Hello. Have you ever thought to yourself, man, I wish I could lead one of the countries in World War II? Of course not, because that means you're either a Nazi, or everyone is screaming at you that you're doing everything wrong in the war because you lead a democratic nation. However, if you are someone insane enough to want this, Hearts of Iron 4 is the game for you. It's a World War II simulation where you get to lead the nation, and then basically decide how the war goes. If you're Germany, you can be democratic. With the Waking the Tiger DLC you see there, there's even a way for you to turn into the Holy Roman Empire. I'm going to go ahead and bet almost none of you watching this know what that is. So anyways, let's get started. DLC, Death or Dishonor to get the victory, Waking the Tiger. Simple enough. So go look them up if you want to know more. Basically, more things for the countries in between Russia and Germany. More things for all the British colonies. More things for China and Germany for some reason, even though everything else is based off of China. Mods. 100% non-core manpower. No division limit. That doesn't mean I have infinite divisions. It means my generals can command, or my field marshals can command unlimited divisions. Player-led peace conferences. I get to decide how the peace conferences go, because I don't want the AI using border gore to kill all of our eyes. Let's start. And now, it's time for me to go into the OBS thing and find my setting that says Hearts of Iron 4 game. Because, guess what? The people who run this can't be normal. No, no, no. They have to have their own special little setting for the game. So you, recording it, have to go and set up a new game capture like this to record the menu, but also the actual game. Why couldn't you just have them launch out the same application? Or here's the thing, have you enable mods from the menu and not a separate launcher. Right. Ah, yes. George S. Patton. Nobody ever defended anything successfully. There's only attack, and attack, and attack some more. That's the American mentality. What are you talking about, strategic defense? We should just launch nukes at them. That's cover art of a bunch of Chinese people frantically trying to defend their land from Japanese invaders. Fun fact, they're outnumbered by about 20, have one small cannon and a machine gun to fight a tank. George S. Patton, you can hack off with your crazy charge the enemy in every situation doctrine. That's just some random people and Churchill. And that's a person who was propaganda from World War II, sticking bolts on a plane. Why? I don't know. I don't know how planes were built. Do any of you care? No. Let's actually have the game load so we can get on to the video. Ooh, a rocket. Fun fact, those were actually in World War II, but they weren't effective because the Germans couldn't figure out how to use the aim button on their mouses. Somehow, even though 9-year-olds can figure out how to do that on Call of Duty, 45-year-old German scientists can't. Ah, Rommel and a tank in the desert. Fun fact, Germany may have actually lost World War II because they decided to send an entire, basically army's worth of troops to North Africa with no strategic purpose there. Important enough to send an entire army there. They lost a bunch of tanks and people when they should have been using them to fight Russia, or, you know, the Allies, who would later end up invading them. There is something phony about this war. That was a term used to describe the war, World War II, until the invasion of France in 1940. Fun fact, this game still hasn't loaded. Do you know why? No. Do we know why? No. Does anyone care? No. having just realized that I wasn't showing you any of this the entire time, so that's nice. Snipers there. Why are there some stereotypical Russian women with a sniper rifle over here? There really is no point. Why does YouTube say that my live stream health is bad? Probably because my computer's bad. Hey, I have to go change the title of this game, because this is the wrong title, cause the video I originally planned didn't get uploaded. Right, let's go look at the menu screen again while the game decides to load. You all wind up shining the shoes of the German. Italo Balba. He was a German ally. What? Why? Also, I guess we just have Soviet tanks driving through a field for no distinguishable reason. Ah, your name is unknown, your deed is immortal. That's a really generic quote. And now there's a that's a panther driving down a road getting bombed by planes. Yes, that's actually pretty accurate, because by the time that tank debuted, guess what? Germany lost all its planes trying to fly them into Britain's Capitol building. No, not really. What they really did is fly planes over Britain 19 million times, until they got them all shot down by anti-air, after realizing that the campaign wasn't working. Nice. The vastness of Russia devours us. I don't understand why the Germans invaded the Soviet Union during World War II alone. I've played this game. And fun fact, it's generally not a great idea to leave your entire Western Front basically undefended while you send your army with no assistance into the heart of the Soviet Union. If Germany's leader hadn't been a psychopathic maniac, but instead a psychopathic maniac with common sense, they would have won World War II. I should probably get to the point of what I'm doing here. And the game has finally loaded. Nice. We're going to be doing single player. New game. Normal start date. And we're going to be playing as this guy. Because after losing World War I, let's pretend I'm in Germany for a bit, I feel pretty bitter. They made us pay $9 gazillion back to everyone of every government we fought against. And now the inflation was so bad for a few years that we were eating coal. Or maybe finding it to burn. I don't remember. I probably got some brain damage from eating coal. It poisoned me. Anyways, now this guy's here. Adolf Hitler. And, he says he's gonna bring us back to greatness, and I'm sure he's not hiding in the shadows a secret plot to murder everyone he doesn't like. Anyways, let's start. We're going to be playing on civilian. Not going to get any achievements because I don't have Iron Man mode on. And we're not going to be using console commands because... guess what? That would be cheating. Oh really, entering codes into the tilde console is cheating? Would never have known. Anyways, Germany has a lot of interesting things. You would suspect this being the country that started World War II, or at least escalated it to a war across the entire planet. And let's just stare at this eloquent map of Europe while the game takes another long-ass loading screen. Do 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 do. Italy's incompetent because they suck at invading Africa. They can't even take out hill people with stick rifles, and we expect them to successfully invade France and then Britain. Haha, you're funny. That's a joke. Italy's really bad at things in this game. Why is the Wii music theme being played in a parody? I really don't know. I've lost all sense of self-control and also my sanity. Can the game just load already? Honestly. You know, you'd expect this game, a mainstream strategy game, that's probably sold millions of copies, to load in a reasonable amount of time. Ah, here we are. Started working as soon as I started criticizing the game developers. What do you know? Alright, research. Click a button. Then, MG08 and lighter mind warfare is not what we're going to research, because we're actually supposed to research wrenches and glass tubes that look like they're old USB. And then, steel girders. Because apparently in 1936 they didn't know how to put metal into a shape, even though they had swords and armor for hundreds of years. And then we're going to research a land doctrine, because our soldiers apparently don't know how to set up a couple of sticks in a pile and stand behind them to delay the enemy attack. Right, what's next? Assigning our divisions. Hey look, we've got this random piece of land over here. If you didn't know about World War II, you'd assume that this was just here for no real good reason. In fact, it's because Poland took this land from us. We'll probably get back to that. It's an old grudge for Germany. Anyways, this army should be in an army under a commander. There's a horse division here. It's my only horse division, so I'm going to put them under the guy who's good at leading horses. New army group. Under. Scroll to the top here. Kurt von Rundstedt. Because he's the only one of these guys who does attack and defense without a negative benefit thing here. Front line. Right. You know what's best to invade an underdeveloped new country? If you said hordes of infantry supported by a very limited base of tanks and motorized divisions. Why have you played this game before? Pretty sure no one who's subscribed to my channel knows what a strategy game is. This attack will come later. Fun fact, the invasion of Poland was what actually started World War II. And I've yet to see a game, ever, where Poland actually gave Germany this land instead of starting a war. All of you were supposed to be on this front line. Why are all of my troops so incompetent? You. And you will form the police force to make sure Denmark doesn't get any funny ideas. Under this guy who they tell me is really good at not running out of supply. But every time I've used him, my paratroopers have run out of supply. I don't care that they were encircled with no routes of supply to them. He says he's really good at keeping people from running out of supply, so that should apply, even if they're surrounded. Yes. I'd rather get salty about my own incompetence and blame the game mechanics than admit to my own being bad at the game, because that's what a good game review is now. Our standards are so high. Right, let's assign an army to the Maginot, under General Erwin Rommel. That guy I told you about earlier who got stuck dancing around in Africa for a while. Losing a bunch of troops because they wouldn't send him anymore. Not only did they decide to send an army to the middle of the desert for no discernible reason, they also didn't supply them enough. And when he asked for reinforcements, they didn't give them to him. Why? I don't know, and honestly, I don't care. That's a lie. I do. I know a lot about history, and I care about it. But honestly, if you're going to send an army to go traipse around in a desert for no real purpose and then just abandon them there with low supply and no reinforcements, you've effectively just doomed that entire army and wasted a bunch of your own supply for no good purpose. Where else have we heard about invading a desert? A barren wasteland of a desert before? Oh, right, this place. Sound familiar? Free civilian factories. We can build things, surprisingly, in a game that's supposed to be about war. You can build things. You're supposed to blow things up. This goes against the heart of it. But I guess just because I can, I'll build some things here. And also things here. Nice. Right. Insufficient resources. We don't have enough things. We need more things. Give them to me. Right. That's dealt with. Now, no divisions in basic training. I'm gonna train some troops, surprisingly. Planning to take over the world doesn't happen unless you have an army. I know, most people are surprised by the fact that having an army is a pretty critical element to taking over the world. That's why 99.9% of people who try to take over the world fail. They forgot to get an army, or at least one that's actually competent and large enough, with good enough equipment, to do anything. Right, let's put our boats together into one giant boat death fleet, and start the game. You'd better not be unable to carry out your orders. Right, we're on 1 speed, which means the game will finish in approximately 6 years. Let's put that up to 5. So I have a chance of finishing this before tonight ends. I told you guys to merge. There we go. Now, let's put the commander Carl Donuts. No, not donuts. This isn't The Simpsons. That was an actual German naval commander. I was surprised by it too. I don't care anymore because I learned about that several years ago. I don't know why I'm doing this or why I'm still talking. That's for you to figure out. Let's start raiding enemy convoys up here. Or at least send our ships to do that once a war happened. I don't care about your unfulfilled import request, mostly because I don't know what they mean. And now we play the game where we sit and wait for 10 minutes for an event like this to pop up that does one thing, and then we get to pick a new one. Because even though this is one of the most popular and successful strategy games invented thus far, they still can't figure out a way to make a timer that makes you go more than 1 day every 20 seconds. Fun fact, Germany actually starts out with an air force, but most of the planes are biplanes. were tiny little prop propeller things from World War I, so they're all horrible. Luckily, everyone else also has horrible planes. Right. So, we're doing the Rhineland. And in case you haven't noticed, there's a spooky little red line here. It scares me. I don't want to go near it. It's a demilitarized zone. Basically what that means is that I'm not allowed to move troops in there because the Allies said so. And until I do the Rhineland, I can't change that. In fact, if they deny the Rhineland, this entire series may be dead in the water. Because if they do that, I basically don't have access to a third of my focus tree, including all of the fun parts. In case you're wondering why I'm devoting tanks and trucks, my only truck division, to this random yellow country, yellow? I must be more tired than I think. This orange country on the left here is because this is the Netherlands, and I get a free war goal on them. And surprisingly, France said, hey, I don't want to do World War I again. Because they lost a bunch of land and got a bunch of things blown up in that. So they built a bunch of forts over here, so if you try and push through them, you get murdered, basically. And we've got decisions. Anti-communist raids. These are the MIFO bills. They do bad things if we don't pay them. But they do worse things if we do. Eventually. So I'm not going to. I know it's a convoluted explanation, and I don't care to finish it. I seriously don't understand why we kept, why in the real world they decided, hey, let's split up Germany, but only this random little part called the Alsace-Lorraine that France and Germany had been debating about for hundreds of years. That kind of makes sense. But what I really don't understand is why they're like, yes, it's a good idea to split the German land in two by giving Poland this new nation, who has shown barely any real intent of going to the sea before, this random port that's rightful German heartland. In fact, if that had not happened, it's possible World War II would never have happened. Because the Allies would have just appeased all of Hitler's demands, and then he would have died. However, so would a lot more people in Germany. Because the Nazis would never have been brought out of power, at least till Hitler died. Right, let's continue. So, let's see if my rambling... Nope, we're still only halfway to completing this. Guess I'm going to go look at this random island in the middle of Canada for the rest of this video. I'm joking. I'm not that evil, just mostly. We really don't want the United States to join the war, because, surprise, that was kind of an issue for the Axis. What with them nuking Japan and invading Germany. Also, I'm not going to be the one attacking the Soviet Union. Because, fun fact, running into Russia is hard. If the Soviet Union has a high enough support among its people, this war support thing, it means that you can push all the way to these mountains, taking every single important city in Russia before you get there, and still not capitulate them and have to cross them. If it gets really bad, you have to push all the way over into remote Siberia just to get them to capitulate, even though in reality they'd probably only have about 6,000 people in the army who weren't dead or already conscripted by then. Let's keep sending single submarines out to the Navy. I'm sure that'll be effective. I'm trying to be cynical because it's the only kind of humor I know how to replicate well. Yawning. See how close we are to this. Only advanced 12 days since the last time I checked. This game is slow as molasses. That's a really old and obscure reference that probably no one watching this is going to understand. If you do, kudos, you know about old and not very popular terminology from the colonial era. The American Revolution colonial era of Britain. I need to specify that much because there was a very large period where Britain just colonized everything. Actually, for example, let me just run through that while we wait for this game to do anything. Here's Britain. But you know where's also Britain in this game? Canada. But you know where's also Britain? Part of the UK in Canada. But you know where's also Britain? North of South America. But you know where's also Britain? Jamaica. But you know where's also Britain? The Bahamas. You know where's not Britain? The Spanish Civil War that's about to crash my game. Come on. This is a $500 PC. It can handle a pop-up. There we go. Spanish Civil War. Hey, I get to do some combat, so the game is actually interesting. But let's continue. You know where's also Britain? The Bahamas. And these random islands. And all of this land. And all of this land, including Egypt. And random spots here. And all the way down to here. And South Africa. And British Raj. And this. And Australia. And New Zealand. They really don't know how to stop colonizing. They physically can't. It's like it's hard-coded into them. Right, but the Spanish Civil War, we should probably do something about that. Because Spain can go fascist. And you know who's fascist? Germany. You know who didn't have enough allies in World War II? Germany. So what we should do is get an infantry commander for these two random divisions and send them off to Spain as volunteers. My voice sounds like it's about to die from the amount of talking I'm doing, which is always a positive. Right. They don't arrive immediately. Let's see how long it takes my volunteers to arrive. Anti-democratic raids. Yes, those democrats are bad. Not really. But I need it to increase the stability of the country, because if you haven't noticed, almost half of it doesn't support fascism. And if I want to keep it fascist, which is fascist Germany is probably the easiest and quickest way to win this game, I'm gonna need it to be fascist. This game is going at a snail's pace, and my volunteers want to arrive for basically half a month. Are you serious? Like, I understand it takes a long time, but couldn't you just sail a boat around here? Wouldn't that only take a week? This is after the Titanic incident. It doesn't take that long. You're essentially doubling or tripling the amount of time it needs to take to send these. No, stop it, red marker. I'm not gonna do the Mifo bells. I already told the audience this. Why don't games have voice recognition so they can do whatever you tell it to? Gosh. So inconsiderate of game developers. Why does Portugal own this random island in the middle of the ocean? Why is there a hammer with a clock next to it? Also, this is a country that America created, Liberia. Fun fact, it's also pretty much the only country America created that has remained stable. There's no butt line. That's literally just the only one, even though we've probably created, at this point, like 10 different countries, most of them in the Middle East. Time to build more trucks and tanks. Because, for some reason, they can produce enough guns for the entire army with 12 factories. But to produce enough tanks for the entire army, an amount of divisions, that's probably 1/5 of that of the infantry. And trucks, which is probably 1/6 of that of the infantry, they need 20. Not an exaggeration. Had that happen before. It's really enjoyable. Not. How long have I been sitting here just staring at this button waiting for something to actually happen with my troops? I honestly want to know now. Thank you. Right. Next national focus. Army innovations. You can create steel helmets even though we had those in World War I. No, that's not what that means. Let's get a fascist demagogue. Alright. We've got mountain troops and normal troops. Let's see if we can take Bilbao. Oh my god, why does this game run at 0 speed? Escape. Game options. Game. Texture quality. Let's just turn the UI scaling, like, all the way down. Turn off 3D buildings, honestly. Okay, I'm not gonna restart the game now. How to lose an offensive when you outnumber the enemy 4-1. Why is it taking us 20 days to rout a single halfway equipped, slightly unorganized, disgruntled Spanish division that's close to being encircled? All of our no. 3 out of our 4 divisions are fully equipped. Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, the Spanish continue to just run their troops at the enemy lines without firing. I'm not joking. That guy just ran for like 20 seconds, fired a single bullet, and then started charging again. I like how there's just a British dude toying with his shoe in Gibraltar while he watches a bunch of Spanish civilians murder each other. I really don't understand how these troops are holding out so well. It's taking us 20 days to push back a single disorganized, extremely undersupplied division. Half of these people don't have guns. What are they doing? Taking a Luger from every German they kill for every 5 of their own men lost. And the Luger has 2 bullets left in it. Honestly. I'm not doing your Mifo bells. I don't wanna.
Weiter, weiter!
Come on. 98% routed. Can you not? Alright, no. Attack through here. We need to go take Bilbao. And encircle the enemy troops. Because that's the only way you can kill the enemy in this war, honestly. Why is the Wii music stuck in my head? It's gay. Ah, we researched that glass USB. And now we get to choose a new paper with beaker to find out. Alright, let's research a typewriter. I know it says it's a mechanical computer, but honestly, it looks like a typewriter. Or maybe one of those cash registers that they have at Kroger. Right then. Can you just take Bilbao? This is the same division you've already routed twice. And has come over the full force of 4 divisions once and 2 divisions twice. Thank you. You're not entirely incompetent. Just mostly. I like how we're still barely beating this extremely low supply, poor organization. Like, we actually just started losing there for a second. How are they holding out? They're getting no reinforcements. Also, somehow they're counterattacking us when they're literally encircled from all sides by like 10 divisions. Why are you all so bad at your jobs? Honestly. Right then. Let's go cut these Spanish troops off from the sea, so they can't go build another port if the AI suddenly realizes that that's something they can do that's actually good. Hey, would you look at that? The only thing Italy ever manages to successfully do. Fight a 6-month war against an army about a quarter the size of theirs. And barely win.
Bereit zum Ausrücken.
What are you doing? You've got like probably a 10-foot wide gap that you're funneling troops through, and you've got like 6 Spanish divisions on your side. Meanwhile, you're in danger of having your entire nation cut in two. Spain is bad. I honestly don't see how Communist Spain ever loses this war, because their divisions seem to be able to hold with no supply for like 3 weeks at the minimum. Also, why are there Soviets here? And why are they dressed in full winter clothing in Spain? You know how you notice how all the other guys like are just wearing shirts, like normal shirts and pants, and you're wearing a full winter overcoat. Spain is generally a pretty warm climate. They're probably roasting. No, not that kind of roasting. I mean, they're probably burning to death. How are you still holding? You've got like 1 gun for every 10 men, and no commanding officers left. What? How? Right, let's go attack these guys, I guess. Oh, we're losing, even though they're surrounded and outnumbered 3-1. I don't understand this game. It's probably one of the best strategy games out there, but there are just moments like this that... why? How are you doing this? This shouldn't be possible. You've got 4 divisions with like 2 guns for every squad and no organization, holding out against a force 2.25 times their size. Not to mention that half of those divisions have full equipment and organization, and 2 of them are well-trained, well-equipped German volunteers.
Bereit!
Oh, hey, look, they got themselves encircled. Guess they wanted to let the other Spanish have some fun, too.
Ausrücken!
Honestly, how bad is the AI? Oh. Well, they're dead. What are you doing? Alright, I'm going to pause the game just to appreciate the stupidity of the AI right here. They've retreated all but 2 divisions from, like, the entire southern 5th of their line, and as a result lost control of Cordoba, an airfield, Sevilla, a very important city in this game, and are about to get 2 divisions cut off and encircled once they lose Cadiz. In the meantime, this pocket which they encircled legitimately like a month of in-game time ago, they haven't even managed to defeat, and in fact have let it break further into their land. And they got their own troops encircled. Plus, they've got 3 divisions right next to the capital of the entire nation. And they're not even attempting to make an offensive. Why? Why are they so bad? Why does the artificial intelligence is supposed to be intelligent? Oh hey, more Soviets dressed in full winter overcoats in the Mediterranean. Because that's a good idea.
Angetreten!
Ah, political things. We can do that. Don't want to, though. Here's some infantry. We can put them in places. This army is under the sky. And we need a new front line here and here. Because you're also going to be in charge of fighting those countries.
Befehle? Zuhören! Ihre Befehle!
You guys.
Befehle?
One of you is going to go to Ostprussen to try and make sure we can actually have troops on every province of that line. The other one of you is going to go to Poland so we can actually have a functioning front line. And these boats are going to go actually meet up with the Navy. That would be a good idea. Oh, hey, look, they've been encircled and they're about to lose their port, exactly as I predicted. Too bad the AI doesn't know how to breathe without a defibrillator and someone slamming a sledgehammer into their abdomen to force their lungs to work.
Zuhören! Achtung!
Ooh, a new political thing, because I care. How about we get a silent workhorse?
Befehle?
Hey you, go to France.
Bereit zum Ausrücken!
Hey you, go to Luxembourg. Yes, the strategically important one-tile city of Luxembourg. Not large enough to have a single military division or have its own city show up on the map. You know the Spanish Civil War is going well when the when your enemies are charging divisions from two provinces. No, what I'm trying to say is, you know what's going on when they're throwing double the amount of forces at you that you have in the area, and you're still winning. Also, I think I've just broken the game. Yes, I have. We have just phased out of existence. That's really nice.